Good morning, guys. Welcome to Crypto Info Blockchain Made Easy, Wednesday, December 10th, 7 a.m., sunny Colorado morning. You got Frank the Crypto Tank. Tap that like and subscribe. Please, if you don't mind, it helps us ever so much on the channel. Excuse me. Today, you know what we're covering? The XRP ETFs, baby. Yeah, we have we have 4 confirmed inflows. We know one of them. Just have to wait. We've covered that. We have 5 of them. We're going to cover 4 spot XRP ETF funds capital inflows this morning. Total assets now exceed $1.23 billion. The breakdown, Canary Capital, XRPC, is the largest with 692 mil AUM. Grayscale tipping the scales at 221 mil. Bitwise coming in holding 193 mil, and Franklin Templeton is holding 132 mil. That's a total of 597 million tokens held, XRP, circulating this open market here. Net inflows since launch now total 897 million combined between at least these 4. Welcome to the channel. What does this mean for XRP? Now that we have nearly 600 million tokens now, at least, removed from the circulating pool. Yeah, it's a major supply shock that's starting to form. Price hasn't seen the effect yet. Yeah, in slow motion every day. The ETF demand just keeps growing steadily every day. Even on red days, institutions buy regardless of the daily chart noise. It doesn't matter. They buy because they're allocating, they allocate and they rebalance, basically. Yeah. This is it. This is XRP's new phase. This is XRP's coming into its own with its new structure now. All right, now let's shift to the macro side of things. The Federal Reserve is injecting now about $50 billion a month coming up here, very likely here, into the wider system. M2 money supply is going to increase like this. This money doesn't need to buy treasuries now. It can rotate now. It can risk. The banks and large institutions now can use their money a little more freely. Dry powder, let's just say. They can buy gold, crypto, tech stocks, whatever they can buy, regulated stuff. XRP benefits now because big funds deploy capital instantly now. This is why ETF models matter now. XRP being on the menu, this is huge. This is going to cause a ridiculous supply shock coming up here very shortly, Q1 and Q2. Even before that, we can see this in December. Let's project out the ETF inflows out to mid-next year, though. In my opinion, we assume that 3 scenarios here. Scenario 1, the low scenario, if ETFs slow and hold minimal risk, then inflows rise to about 1.6 bill or so in Q2 2026, maybe by the end. All right. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Scenario 2, if current trend continues, what we've been looking at lately here, 2.2 bill in AUM by the end of Q2. That's huge. And scenario 3, a very ramped up scenario. If the freed Fed liquidity rotates so heavily into crypto, then we may reach 3 bill in AUM by Q2. XRP's ETF, we'll have to see. I mean, this scenario is not. It seems fantasy now, but it does align with risk on climate that we could see with this, gold being purchased and crypto and so forth because of, we're going to have to see. I think very likely we're going to see rates. We're going to see a 25-point basis cut today. We'll see. But let's talk about the buying pressure required. Now, today, ETFs hold about 597 million tokens in cold storage as of now. Under scenario 1, ETFs have to buy an extra 180 million XRP. Scenario 2, that have to buy 360 million more XRP. 600 million more XRP in scenario 3. So, because the XRP open, it just thins. What's the open float in the market? It's thinning. It's thinning fast. OTC liquidity is already thinning, and dark pools availability is shrinking big time, right? So you got to go to the open market sooner or later to buy the stuff, these large AUMs. And that means price is going to have to reflect that. It's going to have to eventually go up. So we're watching a true liquidity gap develop in phases in slow motion. This is what we've been watching. Phase 1 is, phase 2 is basically beginning now. Q1 2026. Phase 3 is going to hit towards the end of Q2 2026. It's a recipe for a structural repricing upward big time, a real alignment to reflect demand. The chart lags, but we get it, right? The ETFs do not. It's not an immediate thing. This takes a little while for this to start kicking in. It takes some months, some Qs, takes some quarters to kick in. But this is how XRP steps into very powerful institutional play here, amongst other things that it's doing. And here's the core here. The Fed is adding $50 billion approximately a month now coming up. Institutions have fresh capital that has to be allocated, and crypto becomes an easy target. ETF pipes are now fully operational. XRP ETFs provide instant exposure. It's safe. Q2 2026 becomes, I think, this major inflection point with Wall Street and crypto. This is my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's also going to create a supply shock situation concurrently with XRP. And so we are ready for a massive explosion in crypto and all risk on assets. It has not even started yet here. XRP ETF inflows are confirmed now, as we said, at about 197 million. We're not even we have a fifth AUM we're not including, 1.23 bill as of now. Projected to be about 3 bill or so. Could be about 2 to 3 bill by Q2 2026. The price is going to have to adjust sooner or later. We're early in this real structural upcycle for XRP. Concerning the liquidity shock for these large AUMs, regulatory tailwinds, Ripple's growth as a company. Ripple's solid, well thought, proven to be now higher valuated growth as a company. Boy, lots of things. Clarity Act coming down the pike here now, just a little bit. Marrying essentially with the Genius Act to create real guardrails for crypto, finally. Regulatory guardrails that are, I don't know if I want to say soft guardrails. I think with the Clarity Act and the time they've taken to put that thing together in the Senate Banking Committee, I think that that's going to come out smelling like a rose, concerning it being comprehensive enough and it being clear enough, definitive enough, codifying enough to allow the large institutional players to come in, start playing some ball. So these are my opinions. Rearneck, welcome to the channel. How you doing? Got a couple of folks in the comments section here. Hope, welcome into the channel. Good morning, Las Vegas. Rearneck, hi, good morning. Good morning, Las Vegas. We're off to XRP Las Vegas coming up here, the channel. That's going to be fun. We'll do some presenting somehow, probably live. But yeah, so this is what's going on. Welcome to the channel, guys. Welcome in this morning to Crypto Info Blockchain Made Easy with your host, Frank the Crypto Tank. Tap that like and subscribe down below. we're going just a little bit more slowly than usual. Usually I'm talking about 10 million miles a minute. Maybe I should pick it up a little bit more. This is so funny. When I talk faster, all of a sudden I get way more people come into the chat. I guess it's more interesting to talk more quickly. People do not want to hear you speaking slowly unless they're ready for an MIT lecture. So I'm just going to speed it all up. Doesn't matter what I'm saying. Just talk. Frank, Tank, doesn't matter what you're saying. Just talk quickly. All right. Now, what are you talking here? Cram comes in with the patent number. Yikes. Date, everything. Boy, almost thought that was a bot with all that technical stuff in there. Is it? What is this? Is that? Are you for real? Anyway, yeah, we're just gonna have to see, guys, what the deal is. But I think that XRP and all of these others. This is my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't buy or sell anything that I say or do on the channel, especially not these three. Whatever you do, do not buy or sell anything I say or do on the channel. That would be foolhardy. Please don't forget we also launched our Patreon. But yes, I'm not a financial advisor. You would not be buying any of these three nor the other 5 ISOs because of anything I say on the channel. As I say countless times on this channel, because I don't want to have to worry about the playback being readily available for everybody. When I'm saying don't ever buy or sell these three because of what I say or do on the channel, and don't you ever replay this video 3 years from now and look at the price of these three, no matter what you do, including HBAR, Algo, IOTA, Quant, and ADA, the other ISOs. Anyway, welcome in. No, not a bot, says Cram. Thanks for clarifying. Yes, for real, since 91. This has been a plan for XRP, dude. Good for you. Good for you seeing this whole thing and being, and I joke, and that's so cool that, dude, when someone puts a patent and they're like that and puts the date in, I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell you, you found the right channel. Because that's only something that, like, I feel like I would do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, these are the technical folk that have latched on, in my opinion, to XRP, XLM, XDC, Algo, HBAR, Algo, IOTA, Quant, ADA, the 8 ISO coins. Those who know that ISO is actually really a thing, International Standard for Operation, International Standard of Operations. ISO.org is actually a real huge monster entity that lays out best business practices, messaging codes for everything from frickin' garbage removal to surgery, brain surgery, to banking, to safety with OSHA and so forth. Everything in this world. Go to the site and see. Anyway, so ISO 20022, this newest banking messaging code that allows for rich messaging data now for the first time in history to go along with a payment across payment rails, either domestic or abroad, for the first time in history now. So no more MT messages and no more coexistence of MT messages, which are the older kind of 70s Swift messaging. Now switching over to XML messaging, which is this, instead of just getting some garbled text with some abbreviations or something like that, like it's been, believe it or not, our money has been like this. That's what's described a payment that's being sent, that's been being sent all this time. So now it's going to have the ability to have kind of like an email attachment and have like a bunch of things attached to it, and who, what, when, where, why, everything. Okay, I want to say a picture, but I think pictures. I don't know. But I don't know to that degree, but this is what we're dealing with in the banking system. It's being entirely overhauled. These are the coins that are doing it. The 8 ISO compatible. So the messaging system is ISO 20022. And there's some of these cryptocurrency coins that are, remember, a coin runs on its own blockchain and a token runs on someone else's, essentially. So these coins are monster powerhouses. They comprise our new QFS, or our quantum financial system. This is for newcomers. I know some of you guys already know all this stuff. And this is where we are, and this is why we have chosen these. I think XDC, says Cram, will be used for ledger for all shipping containers. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong. All right, so a couple of years ago, you had a nice point, and I'll elaborate a little bit more on it. So So a couple of years ago, Prince Charles, is it King Charles? King Charles, the King of England. Shame on me for not knowing that. Now, look at the people in the UK are going to be very disappointed in me. I think it's King Charles. A couple of years ago, decided to create the law that says that digital finance is allowed now. So London is essentially the hub for all these shipping containers. They standardized this whole operation some years ago, and it was clunky for a little bit, but they standardized it all across this planet. And so the shipping container thing is a huge thing concerning supply chain and moving everything, goods around this planet. So now that happens, since XDC digitizes trade finance, they now XDC runs on the Zinfin network out of Singapore. And now XDC, besides, by the way, putting all the U.S. patents on all the United States patents, millions and millions and millions, all go on XDC as well. So I don't know if folks were aware of that. It's going to make XDC on the Zinfin network. It's going to make this very valuable. XDC. So now what happens is, because he's digitized trade finance and said that, hey, now you can come in and these ships of lading, these paper documents, you can come into port now that describe what your shipment is, who gets paid, blah, blah, blah. Now, first of all, instead of spilling a cup of coffee on these papers and being set back like 2 weeks, literally, everybody being paid, all this stuff, now it's instead of waiting week to whatever after shipments dropped and everything for people to get paid, it streamlines and speeds everything up like a freaking UFO, and people can get paid as things are containers are dropped, and it just increases the flow, the liquidity of this whole system. If you can imagine it, XDC is a crusher, in my opinion. Oh my gosh, am I so happy that I loaded up on the XDC. I hope you guys took care. These are great buying ops now if your bags are not packed to be loading up. I am not a financial advisor. These are my opinions. Let me get into some of these comments here, guys. And yeah, by the way, we are going to hit XRP Las Vegas, and that's going to be fun. We'll do some live casts from there and everything. Cramp says XRP, it says XDC, how much would 10,000 a good number? Totally up to you guys. Guys, it depends on what you're looking for. Hope, you got some comments in here too. Hope Botanicals, let's do you. How much would one need of XDC? I don't know. XDC, I like somewhere about 100,000 or so coins of XDC. If you can get yourself maybe 150,000, it depends on what people have to purchase with. Remember, it's not about vanity. Be careful now. Don't get caught up because I said that. You asked me a question and I wanted to go real honest. Yeah, Ginger, welcome in. Ninja XRP, rock on. I wanted to be really, Seth, welcome in, buddy. Not an advisor of finance. No, definitely not. Guys, here's the thing. I want to be careful to, definitely not a financial advisor, obviously. But here's the thing, guys. You ask me and I want to honestly answer and say, all right, let me give you an example to answer your question. All right. I don't want to confuse with that being up there, but let me answer your question here with this. Okay. So if XDC right now coming in the 60s somewhere, where is XDC? 66. Okay. So XDC is at 5 cents, guys. So if XDC is at 5 cents and you said, now look at, now here's the thing, and I want to be real clear with this, make sure and careful to say this, even though I'm not a financial advisor, this is a common sense thing that I will say. We only put money into crypto that we can afford to not to be without, like no matter what. Like we don't care, even if we had lost that money. I always say it's only money you can afford to burn in a fire. Now, who can afford to burn money in a fire, right? But that's where I'm coming from, in my opinion, when I invest, is that I'm putting in money that I can afford to be without, and I don't have to worry about paying a mortgage, my gas for my vehicle, my food, if I have a vehicle payment, whatever it is, okay? Now, here's the thing. If it's at right now, guys, so what did we say? Number 66 here. We said it was at 5 cents. So if somebody said I can take, I mean, over a period of time, let's say you can do it over some weeks, and you say, all right, I could do $5,000 of this XDC stuff. All right, well, if you do that, then you're able to capture 100,000 XTC. You've achieved it. Now, some folks are like, what is this guy crazy? I can afford to drop 200 here and there, maybe like 5 times. Okay, fine. Or 250. Okay, fine. That's okay. 200. Let's say you did it 5 times 2. Let's say you put in a total of 1,000 into XTC. I'm not telling you to do this. Let's say somebody did it. Okay, so somebody's got themselves 20,000 coins. You got to pay your exchange fee, fine. You got your 20,000 coins though, right? XDC takes itself to where? Where do you think XDC is going? That's the big question. We're all here to make money. Come on, let's get real, okay? Where does everybody think XDC is a horrible time to get the hiccups when you're live. Where does everybody think XDC is going? Be honest with me here. Be genuine. Be a little bit conservative, I guess I would say. All right, now look at XDC is back here in 2019 at 0.0005 cents. All right. That's what I was buying. I'm a jerk. I didn't have to spend a lot to get a lot back then. Okay. Now here's the thing: XDC started jumping, and I am. That's not really very well. It is accurate, but I really started buying the majority of it kind of in here at 0.004ish. In here is where I bought the majority of the XDC, and I bought some more in here. And then bags were packed for me, but it depends on where you want to buy at and where you think the thing can go. And I say, since it has an all-time high according to coin market cap of 19 cents, I mean, come on. Okay, so fine. So 19 cents. Call it 19 cents. Let's say they're over the target with that. If we take, say, remember, you got yourself 20,000 coins, and it's got an all-time high of 19 cents. Now, if we reasonably take that and pull from 19 cents and go, let's say, let's do a 3x. Easy, she's good for. We could even do a 5x, no sweat. We'll do a 5x, 95 cents. So 95 cents for an XDC. And all of a sudden, somebody said they were going to put that money down, and all of a sudden they had 20,000 of these things. And said, wow, I just made 19K on that move. That's great. So it's not bad. I mean, guys, this is all up to the individual. I mean, somebody who goes, let's just run through this calculator. Somebody who purchased XDC for, let's say they put, let's say they put a total of like, I don't know. Let's say they put in like $5,000 total on XDC. Back when it was back at those rates there. Well, that means you got yourself 1.25 mil of XDC. It changes the game a little bit. Now, here's the thing. That 20,000 XDC that individual got, let's say that was all $1,000 is all someone could afford. Well, I mean, can we get real? XDC, if you're not, if anybody's paying attention, that thing's going to $200. I mean, that person now, I mean, come on, let's get real. You got to get real with this. That's $4 million for dropping down $1,000 when it goes to 200. But so it's $2 million when it goes to $100. Okay, so it's $500K when it goes to $50. Still not before taxes. It's still not bad for dropping down $1,000, is it? So this is where we are. Let's cover this crypto market real quick. We'll get back to comments in just a second. $3.14 trillion cryptocurrency market, and fear and greed was at a 10 just some days ago. It's now at 30, getting ready to be at 40, 50, 70, 80. I am telling. Look at. I got to get on full screen for this. Oh boy. Oh, the world. Oh, Art Caffeine. What's up, man? Guys, the world ain't ready for this. Yeah, we are ready. The future billionaires coming on strong. Guys, welcome in our caffeine. Guys, here's the deal. I don't know if, okay. I'm going to run through this very quickly, okay? I'm I'm going to try to be as captivating and interesting as possible for those who've been around crypto for quite a while, and for those who have not, to not be over their heads. All right, I'm going to try to fall somewhere in the middle, but be interesting and colorful so that people don't say, I just can't deal with it. Here it is. Ready? I'm going to lay it out right now. Ready? Here's what we know. Here's what we have learned. Here's what you may or may not know. You will see this come to pass over the next months, and you'll be like, I heard that somewhere before. When it all happens, I'm not trying to be a jerk. This is what's going to happen. Ready? Here's what they're doing. They've already started. They're dumping billions every month, injecting into the economy. Billions for all intents and purposes. You could just call it turning the faucet on. Here's the thing. They're trying to call it all kinds of different, not trying, they are trying, because there's a deceptive element here, in my opinion. They're calling it all different things. What are they calling it now? Offset management, something they're calling it. Here's what they're doing. They're turning the faucet back on, the money faucet. So M2 money supply go up now. That means crypto go up. That means gold, believe it or not, gets turned back on. Get too excited, can't talk. Gold prices getting ready to go through the moon. You didn't just hear it here. You've heard it from some others, but this is why that's getting ready to happen, is because M2 money heard all this before anyway, but M2 money is getting ready to truly crank over Q1, Q2 this next year. This whole thing's ready to explode. They have no choice. If you look at the charts, we'll pull some up in a little bit. They have no choice. Okay, if you think of it as, you know how this works, right? It's the bathtub, right? The drain, you open up the drain, that's QT. You stop that drain and you turn on that faucet, add more water to that bathtub and fill it up, that's QE, that's quantitative easing. That's what we're dealing with now. See, the thing is they want water in that bathtub, but they don't want it to go too low. But they don't want it to be too high. It's got to be at this ample level. Ample, keyword, ample. I have so many things I could say on that. All right. Here's the thing, though. I just thought about 5 different funny things to say, and I can't do it. Inside voice, Frank. Carry on with the talk. Here's the deal. Inside that tub, it's got to stay nice, the level of water. So it's got too low, and they don't know where the bottom is. This is the thing. You would think they do. They don't. And so what happens is it gets too low. You can't have a repo market shock. Interest rate shock on the repo market overnight, the overnight borrowing market that keeps all the liquid, keeps the whole money system moving. Yeah, you can't, that debt market. Yeah, you can't have that. You guys who know this know what I'm talking about. You can't have that. That's a bad thing. That's what happens during the Laszlo crisis and then the 08 crisis that we had as well before that. Okay? This is a point where large institutions, banks, and so on and so forth, not going to have to buy bonds. Going to have a whole bunch of excess money available to go ahead and buy a whole bunch of stuff they want to buy. Gold, crypto. Not forced to buy that other stuff now. They can buy their stuff. They can buy the crypto stuff that they know is the future and that's going to go up. They can buy all that stuff. That's regulated enough and that they can buy. But that stuff, come on, you guys paying attention to this. Crypto is about to go into the extended super cycle coming up. Q1, Q2, this is a prepper. The ETFs, XRP ETFs and the capital inflows coming in now is only the, don't point, is only the prepper. I'll do a Bill Clinton. I'm going to do a Bill Clinton. Don't point, do this instead. Come on, it's just as bad almost. I tell you what, I get to the comments now. You grab your cup of XRP and you take a big old sip. Okay, here's the deal. Anybody paying attention? Oh boy, let's get to these comments here. Cram says, is XDC partners with Ripple to run on the XRP? No, XDC, I don't think so. But everything I think eventually may run through the ledger. XDC is connected somehow. Actually, I think they might be with R3 Corda. I might be wrong with that. Don't talk on stuff you're not positive about, Tanker. I try to be as accurate as I possibly can on the channel so people know anything I say, they can literally take that to the bank as gold. Okay, so I don't know for sure. I'm going to tell you I don't know for sure. on that. I believe through our 3/4, but don't quote me on that. Good morning, Tanker, says Art Caffeine. Yes, we are the future billionaires coming up. Krem says list of ISO 200 to come out utility assets 2025. Cardano 88 coin. Yep. List of pre-mine cryptocurrency 2025. XRP. Oh, nice. I like how you did that. ADA, XLM, and IOTA at 70% pre-mined. Oh. Yeah, then how? Okay, so Riddle, I thank you for that info. How can it be that IOTA is carbon negative? I'm curious. I'm not doubting you saying that IOTA at 70%, but one of these is carbon negative, or is that H bar that's carbon negative? One of these actually has a negative carbon footprint. Thank you, Cram. Thanks for being over the target, my good friend. Yes, the ISOs. No, don't go buying any of those because what I say or do, not a financial advisor, ha ha ha, is the joke that I have to say that 9 trillion times. Everybody ever tries to say anything about him, like, look, if you look at his videos, he literally just kept saying it over and over again that he was not a financial advisor. So how silly can you be? Try to blame this guy. Yes, you're responsible for your own financial decisions. Do not buy or sell anything because of what I say or do on the channel. Even when I say it like that with my voice, and whatever you do, don't ever go grabbing those 3. And don't ever play this back 3 years from now, this video, and look where the prices are of those 3. Whatever you do, don't ever do that. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Cram. You're good. Cram, I know you know your stuff. Guys, if you are sitting here listening to the tank and watching this, then you guys know your stuff like no others, because you know what? We are so early on this stuff, and knowing this stuff, and very likely you folks out there who are listening to this and investing in this stuff, don't do that. That's not smart. Don't do that. That's not a good idea. But you guys do what you want. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not for financial advice. It never is. Cram says, marketed as a carbon negative blockchain, it uses pure proof of stake consensus that consumes minimal energy. Rock on. Yeah, this is where we are with all this. Thank you, Cram. Guys, thank you for being, and thank you, by the way, Cram, we got Ginger in here this morning. We have got my buddy, and good friend that you may or may not have known, Mr. Seth. I love you, buddy. We got a few people in here that are just fantastic. And I think Hope, by the way, Rironick. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. We're going to jump off the stream here this morning. I hope to catch you in tomorrow morning. I am jumping off because I am off for a lovely trip. So I will see you when I get back, and we'll be coming to you live from vacay tomorrow morning and the following day. You got Crypto Info Blockchain Made Easy with your host, Frank the Crypto Tank. Please don't forget, tap that like and subscribe down below if you don't mind. It helps us so much. Please do not forget that cryptocurrency has not gone away. It is actually getting ready to explode, and the whole world's about to say, wait, that crypto stuff was a thing? I thought we just all talked about at Thanksgiving that it wasn't really going anywhere. All right, guys, have a good day. See ya.